Well, looks like another up-and-coming commentator just popped up out of nowhere. And
Oh boy, this is gonna be a fun ride, am I right?
okay, so for those of you who don't know, Kai Kunai is another upcoming YouTuber of 2020 who joined YouTube a few days before June rolled around. He started off his channel doing game reviews and a top 5 of his best 90s games. I put 90s in quotation marks because at some point in the video, he made the claim of Kingdom Hearts being a game released in the 90s, which is not really accurate seeing as how the first Kingdom Hearts was released in 2002 on the PlayStation 2, but details. Anyways, fast forward to August, around the time everybody was starting to get back into the swing of schools and colleges starting up again, and BAM! This video was posted. For context, Kai made his first commentary responding to a user by the name of Atzi Gaming, who put out a video explaining why he doesn't like Crash Bandicoot. Of course, Kai had issues with this video, and that's why I'm here. There's issues that I see within Kai's video, so I'm going to point them out. But before I begin, I would like to point out your OC we're going to see in the video. Now, I won't say much about your Ninja Machamp, but one thing I have an issue with is how small it may appear for some viewers in comparison to the rest of what's on the screen. My best fix for this is to increase both the horizontal and vertical axes for your OC in order to make it more noticeable in the video. With that said, let's dive right in.
So, let's see what's so bad about this video.
This video was initially going to be called I Was Wrong About Crash Bandicoot 1. By that I mean that I have never really understood this game and how people like it. I have tried to play this on multiple occasions, both on the PlayStation 3 or PS1 Classic and the Insane Trilogy, but I always give up.
Now here is one of my main issues with this video. He says himself that he doesn't understand the appeal of the game, but if he didn't understand it, then why is he making this video then? It seems like an unnecessary jab at Crash Bandicoot and the fans of the franchise, such as myself.
Okay, two things here. One, while yes, it can be chalked up to Atzi's awkward wording, he never actually stated that he never understood the appeal of Crash Bandicoot. In fact, in the context you played and then some you left out, he was stating that through his experience with Crash 1, he grew to not like the game.
I have tried to play this on multiple occasions, both on the PlayStation 3 or PS1 Classic and the Insane Trilogy, but I always give up. So why I was originally going to call this I Was Wrong About Crash 1 is because I was really enjoying my time up until a certain point, and then it sank in. I really do not like Crash 1.
Boo! You stink!
Next up, just because a person doesn't understand the appeal to a game, that doesn't mean that they can't make a video talking about it. After all, first impression videos do exist on YouTube for a reason. They're meant to give people an opportunity to play video games that they aren't acquainted with in order to form their own opinions on them.
Most people are not aware of this, but reviewers like myself are constantly walking on eggshells when making reviews. It is very important to keep your reviews as unbiased and objective as possible. If this wasn't the case, literally anyone could make a game review. This is why it is very necessary to keep your opinions out of the way when making a review.
This point right here kind of irks me. Reviewers' opinions on video games can often help drive the decision on whether or not they prefer a video game over another. Another thing, pretty much every countdown list is based on the opinions of what people like and don't like. Inherently, there's going to be bias since, as objective as you want things to be, countdowns and reviews are still subjective in nature. What you may think is good, another may not.
I'm playing this game on the Switch Insane Trilogy, so I can't really talk about the original. So we'll start with the good because I generally want to keep this channel positive.
I want to keep this channel positive. Doesn't that contradict exactly what you said 20 seconds ago? You're not exactly making much sense here.
Okay, so this point works at surface level based on the title of the original video, but when you dive deeper into it, there's a bit of a problem. Was Atzi really being contradictory with what he said by wanting to get the positives of Crash 1 out of the way before moving on to the negatives? He wanted to be as fair to Crash 1 as he could to show people that there are aspects in the game that he liked. In other words, he was trying to be objective, something you brought up in your previous point.
For me, Temple Ruins is one of the best levels in the game. There are plenty of precise jumps that have to be made, and the overall aesthetic and feel of the level is wonderful. There's a really good level of challenge, and for me personally, the game's difficulty spikes at random times, then comes back down, and then goes back up at random.
The difficulty might feel like it's going up and down for you, but for other people, it might just seem like it's going up in a linear fashion. This is a highly subjective comment about the game, and like I said, it devalues the review.
Okay, but what does it matter that other people might find the difficulty spiking different than Adsy finds it? Does it do anything to debunk his own experience? Because to me, this feels like you're arguing subjectivity with other people's subjectivity, which doesn't do anything to prove him wrong. Let me paint a hypothetical scenario for you. Suppose you go to a Buffalo Wild Wings with 5 others, and you all order a bunch of Parmesan garlic chicken wings. One of those 5 might find the wings too spicy, another too mild, and the rest of you just spicy enough to satisfy your taste. Are either Mr. Bland or Mr. Spicy wrong for stating their opinions on the wings? No, because it's all a matter of subjective taste.
He burnt my Krabby Patty.
He burnt my fries.
He burnt my shake.
And you know what the best thing about these levels are? They're not too hard, but they give you the option to be made a fair bit more challenging if you want to collect all the boxes. This is why most 3D Mario platformers are so great. You can add more challenge by going for the extras.
Why is he comparing Crash Bandicoot to Super Mario Bros? He said it himself, they are fundamentally different.
Well, my fighting-type ninja protagonist, Adsy most likely came to this comparison given how, while yes, both Crash and Mario are fundamentally different games in execution, there are still elements of exploration that each game has, which gives you the opportunity to shoot for 100% completion. In Mario's case, that exploration comes from secret paths that you can take in order to gather giant golden coins, collect stickers, and even access secret flagpoles in the case of both Super Mario Bros. On Wii and DS respectively. In Crash's case, breaking every box within a stage can also net you gems that you can use in backtracking in order to open up secret passageways that you couldn't access before. And gathering enough gems can net you not only full completion, but also a secret ending that you normally wouldn't be able to access otherwise. So while it's not a perfect comparison, I do see how he came to it in the first place.
I'm currently playing Crash 2, and the addition of the slide mechanic really helps with these annoying ice mechanics. I think the next 2 games in the series get the difficulty perfectly.
So now he says that the other games are good? They're basically the same game. They both have the exact same mechanics.
No, not really. For one, Crash 1, whether you play the original game or the Insane Trilogy remake, is stiffer to control when compared to both Crash 2 and 3 Warped in terms of platforming. Second, the power-ups that you obtain for Crash's abilities in 2 and 3 don't even appear in Crash 1. Otherwise, they negate the problem as he has in regards to Crash 1's platforming in certain levels.
Crash doesn't feel great to control. He just feels stiff, and there are mechanics that just don't feel right, mainly the bounce mechanic, which is highlighted in the high road.
And that's basically where Kai's video ends. He does make one point at the end about critics having to finish games in order to review them.
As critics, it is very important that we finish the game we're talking about and explore it in depth.
And to address that real quickly, while yes, it is heavily suggested you go in depth with a game when reviewing it, as long as you have a good sense of the mechanics and controls of the game you're covering, you don't really need to finish it in order to review it. Anyways, final thoughts time. Kai, while I can see where you're coming from with certain points you made in this video, it was ultimately not bad, but not good either. The big thing that I've noticed is that there were some arguments in this video that you made that fell in execution while trying to tackle Adsy's own video, like saying that the 3 Crash games are the same and that you shouldn't let opinions help you decide whether or not Crash 1 is good. But I can excuse that, seeing how this is your first commentary, so naturally rookie moves are going to be made. It happens. Now from your intro, I get the feeling you would love to make more commentaries in the future, and if you'd like to know how, I have 2 suggestions. One, I recommend you watch at least a handful of commentaries by other people in the CC in order to get a good handle on how the community operates, as well as exploring different options for how to make and edit your videos in the future. And 2, pay a bit more attention to the videos that you're covering, and even watch them multiple times if you have to. That way, when you go to script, you'll have a good idea of what you want to say in response. There is potential in you to be a good commentator. It just takes that spark of initiative in you listening to the criticism given to you and applying it for your future content to make it happen. And with that, this is 64 Beastie Man, beasting out.